Okay, welcome to a video tutorial on how to reduce your website's bounce rate. My name is William Murray from jvfocus.com, and we're going to analyse the data from jvfocus.com for the last 7 days and pick out probably the top 5 posts which have the highest bounce rate within that period. First, I'll refer to the article that's just been written up on reducing the bounce rate for your website. Bounce rate is something that's confused, maybe misunderstood by quite a lot of people who analyse analytics, or maybe perhaps don't understand analytics. Effectively, in a nutshell, your bounce rate is somebody visiting a page, it could be your home page or any page on your website, without taking any type of tangible action. And what I mean by that is literally, clicking on a hyperlink within that page. So they may read your article and do nothing else and just exit your website. A bounce rate and exits is two totally different things. Don't get the both confused with having some kind of relationship, because they are different. So let's crack on. So why should you pay attention to bounce rate? It's really a very actionable stat, one that you can take some kind of form of action to do some quick fixes to reduce your bounce rate. It's a metric which is available on most analytic tools, although we're going to look at Google Analytics specifically for jvfocus.com. You can measure your customers, your prospects' behaviour. So anybody visiting your site, you can see trends and patterns on what they may be doing and how you can improve their experience. And it's arguably one of the most important metrics, in my opinion, and of the opinion of many other people who analyse analytics. So I'm going to cover quickly 10 steps that you can take, which isn't in any particular order. There's a multitude of things that you can do, and each site is different. But 10 steps that you can really do which would improve your bounce rate overall. So don't make your navigation too complex. If somebody's coming into your homepage, make it easy to navigate so they can find the content they're looking for. Your content should be relevant. If they've found a link on Google, for example, which clicks through to your website, if they're looking for oranges and your website is all about carrots, then that's not really going to be relevant to the visitor. 404 error pages. I'm guilty of this. jvfocus at the moment uses the default page, so we're probably going to put a custom call to action in there to entice them on to another area of the website, and perhaps a graphic, make it fun and interesting. A really big one, especially nowadays and coming towards the end of 2013, mobile device searches has significantly increased over the last 2 years. If you have a look on the post, if you're reading the post as well as watching this video, Steve Waller created a really good thread which covers some of his analysis of one of his most popular sites, where transitioning the site over to mobile made a significant impact to his bottom line. So yeah, that's a really interesting post, that one. Create more relevant and engaging content goes without saying. Especially if you're on a blog or a community-based website, make sure you're creating content on a regular basis and consistent basis, and it's really good original content. And give your visitors a reason to come back. Perhaps you'll offer them a white paper, a free report, or maybe capture their email address and put them on a value sequence. And that gives you an opportunity then to re-engage them and get them coming back to your website. Perhaps you're attracting the wrong type of traffic. Maybe you're advertising your website on a different market segment, and that traffic is just not interested in what you have to offer. So make sure that you're marketing your website in the appropriate places. Try to avoid pop-ups. Most people don't like them. I'm a marketer. I've used pop-ups before, but I've used them sparingly, and when I use them, I make sure they only pop once for that one visitor session, and that's it. Poor design. It's amazing how many websites that still use very old design styles. So anything that's poorly designed should be redesigned, updated, maybe transition over to a WordPress blog, a custom theme, which you can buy off the shelf relatively cheaply. So that's a really good option. And is your site loading fast? That's a really important one too. There's plenty of analysis tools on the internet where you can check out how fast your pages are loading, which files or scripts are specifically taking the longest to load. And if you can't do the development yourself, then have a web developer look at that to improve that. Google and your visitors will thank you for that. It's not everybody has a super fast broadband connection. There's still people using old PSTN and modems to connect to the internet. So you need to make sure that your pages are loading fast, because that will affect your bounce rate. What you'll find is that visitors will actually close your session down before the page is loaded. So let's move on to Google Analytics, and we're going to have a look at some real data from jvfocus.com. We're going to have a look at our top 10 landing pages. Now, when you're in Google Analytics, if you choose all website data, and if you go down to the behaviour section, site content, then landing pages. Now, the reason I want landing pages is that this will give us a snapshot of the top 10 landing pages that has the highest bounce rate. So if we have a look at, I picked out 5 in the post that you'll see, and we'll refer back to the post in a moment. You'll see that we have one here which is 81.25%. We're going to quickly look at that one first. So if we just pop down here, I'm going to grab the link and we're going to bring that post up actually. So if we grab the link here, and it'll just take me a moment, we'll load this up. And this post is a copywriting tip. It's a quick tip for the day, written by one of our jvfocus members, very kind of them. And as you can see, it's a very short post. There's no visual images in there at all. Perhaps could have used some visual images. And until I added a call to action at the bottom, there wasn't any tangible call to action. So I've added a call to action at the bottom of this post, which simply links to a relevant post, which is another copywriting tip that Jay wrote. So that would improve, the bounce rate for this post slightly. This post as well was syndicated out to our Facebook group, Facebook timeline, Google Plus pages, and Facebook page, and Twitter. So a lot of the traffic came in direct to this page, would have read the short article and left. So that's probably why we've had quite a high bounce rate on this one. So we'll move on to the next one. If I just bring up Google Analytics again, and I'm not going to go through all of these pages actually, but I'm going to probably point out one or two more. So we'll go to the next one, which is this one here. And we'll just bring this post up. I'll just take a moment. And let's have a look at this post. Okay, it would help if I could get the right address. There's a white space there. Just delete that out. Okay, this is a post which was done, I guess, about 5 days ago. It's quite an extensive how-to post. It does have some really good information in there. And as you'll see, we've got a video embedded in here, similar to the one that we're doing at the moment. So there's a video that comes with this particular post. We also have visual representation. So we have, simple steps to follow with highlighted instructions. So that's very strong type of content. Something to note along the top, I'll just quickly go up. You can see the hyperlinks on jvfocus is very, very grayed out. It's the type of style it has, it's very monochrome, and it doesn't stand out. Unless you mouse over it, you don't really know it's a hyperlink. It's quite hard to see. So that's a problem that needs to be addressed, a styling issue. So we'll carry on down the post, and we'll just come to the bottom. Now this was a real quick image that we had designed, which is effectively a call to action image for a downloadable report, which is a printable version of this post. PDF file. But as you can see, the image is maybe a little bit too blended in with the color contrast of the site. So perhaps we need to increase the size of this image so it's a little bit more full width and change the copy and color. So that's something that we'll definitely do, and that should improve the bounce rate. Another thing to note here is the actual attached files box, which I've just highlighted. You can't see what the file name is. Attached files is not a very good call to action. So that's something that we can update in the code. And we definitely need to do something that addresses the style and color of this box, because it just does not stand out. And another thing that I'll point out is I really need to have some kind of graphic in my signature here, which again might entice a click. And the whole objective to negate the bounce for somebody reading this article is to have one click. So if we have one click, then you know the bounce is cancelled out. So we'll do one more, then we'll start to wrap things up. And we'll just see what the next one is. Okay, yeah, let's have a look at this one. This is an example of quite a weak bit of content that I personally wrote myself. I'll take responsibility for that one. Just get rid of that white space. Okay, let's put the same one in again. Just give me a moment. Grab the right URL. Okay, so the next one really is me reflecting back on 2013. It's weak for a number of reasons. The content really isn't that relevant to what the site is all about. It's more my thoughts and me reflecting back on the year. There's absolutely no graphical representation at all in the post to entice a click or give some visual feeling to the post. Again, the hyperlinks are grayed out. It's very difficult to see unless you mouse over. And there's absolutely no call to action at the bottom of this post at all, which might link out to, another relevant post on the forum. And again, there's no graphic in my signature, and my name and link to the homepage is very barely visible. So if I just summarize my thoughts, and the post goes into all the details, and there will be a downloadable report as well. There's a number of things personally that we can do on jvfocus which will improve the bounce rate. The hyperlinks is a big issue. We definitely need to address that and style it properly so the hyperlinks stand out. The download image needs to be improved. It really is a flat call to action graphic pointing to the attached file section. My signature needs a graphic. Styling in the signature is also very weak, and that's something we can address in the overall site styling. Images need to be used where possible to give some visual reference to the content. And, we definitely need to improve the attached files box. When we give away a white paper or a free report with a post, then it needs to be visible so people click on that link, because that click to the download link, again, is some form of tangible action which will cancel out the bounce. We also need to look at bottom of posts and put a strong call to action. For example, at the bottom of this one, we've got click here to learn how to improve conversions, increase sales and leads on your websites. So that's a relevant piece of content to this particular post. And the top 5 posts or top 5 bounce rates with the posts in this particular example were all syndicated out directly. So what I mean by that is the majority, probably 95% of the actual page views for these posts came indirect. So it wasn't an organic navigation from the main site. They came direct, so we syndicated out to our Facebook group, Facebook timeline, Google Plus page, Google Plus profile, Facebook page, and Twitter. So all the traffic came in direct, probably read the article, didn't really see much of hyperlinks, there was no call to action, and it was very difficult to see the free report download. So anyway, I hope this has helped, and I hope you improve your bounce rate as a result of this tutorial. If you would like to like and share this video, comment and subscribe to our channel.